Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Jessie. Are you ready to answer to my questions? How are you?
Yes, Boris. I'm well. How are you, given,
Nice.
the state of everything? Thank you for
Ready.
your questions.
Hello, Jessie. Sophie Jones is your first film after the short movies Too Long at the Fair and Stories We Tell Ourselves. Can you tell us a little bit about your background, please? What was your main
Yes.
inspiration to become a director?
Yes, well, I guess I've been directing since I was a child. I was 8 years old and would write and choreograph musicals and plays and force my siblings and my cousins to be in them. And I guess I'm still kind of doing that now.
Mhm.
So I started as an actor. I had always loved theater and I studied dance and I sang in operas and I went to school for drama and English and American literature, and I studied drama and really started in the New York theater scene, and especially working with a theater company with a bunch of friends of mine from college, and it was devised theater. So a lot of it was us creating characters, us coming up with story and improvising sort of off of scripts, and it was so collaborative, which is really a lot of the same tools and techniques that I take into my filmmaking process, and especially with independent film. It is such a collaborative effort, and it's so important to me that everyone feels ownership of the film and of their roles, so that we can sort of summon the magnificence of everyone. So yeah, that's a little bit about, I guess, my journey.
Sophie Jones seems based on some personal events. Can you tell us about that? And you work on the screenplay with Jessie Barr, son of my family. I have already understand your video this morning.
Yeah, so it's a kind of a strange synchronistic turn of events how this came to be. Both my cousin, who stars in the film, is Sophie Jones, and we co-wrote the script together. We share the same name. We're named after my great grandmother, and we also share a loss. We both lost a parent to cancer when we were 16 years old, and although we have about a decade between us, we have this shared life experience. And so I was writing another script, not this one. And I realized when I was writing, I was sort of in this space of realization that I had been alive for the same amount of years without my father that I had been alive with him. It was 16 years after. I never spoke about really him or that loss or that grief until I began to make this film. And my younger cousin sent me a very early draft of a script that she was working on, and I just felt possessed, and I dove in with her, giving her notes. We were talking about our experiences, and then I came on to direct, and we started to co-write the script that would eventually become Sophie Jones together.
Did you shoot the different sequences of this film on the chronological order?
Ah, that would be a dream. It is every filmmaker's dream, every actor's dream. Of course, I tried as best I could to do that for the sake of the actors. A lot of the cast is, Jessica's first film ever, her first time working, on screen. A lot of these kids are, and these young actors, they're so talented, but a lot of them, it was their first experience. Not all, but many. And so I wanted them to feel comfortable and be able to be vulnerable and feel safe. So anytime I could make it, in chronological order, if possible, to help the emotional journeys, we fought for that, my producers and I fought for that. But of course, it's not always possible.
Can you tell us about your filming, more specifically the location where you shoot this movie?
Yeah, so it's shot in Portland, Oregon. This is where my cousin Jessica grew up. This is where my producer Lindsay Guerrero had just moved. So Portland, it was so important to me, and this is something really worked on when we were working on the script. When I was scouting, I knew Portland is a character. That it's in such an incredible place, and I wanted both the location to feel like a character in the film and a really integral part of the story and the narrative, but also there was something that I felt would be really powerful about connecting the feeling of Sophie's mother,
Mhm.
and that feeling of mother in nature, and connecting and communing with her spirit. And it's something that I feel I do a lot when I'm out in nature. I can feel sometimes closest to my father in those moments. So that was important to find a way to organically, weave that in. And there were just so many incredible places. I remember the first few scouts that I went with my producer, with Lindsay, and she was driving this van and Jessica's in the back. And I'm just like, oh my God, waterfalls everywhere. There's so lichen on the trees, there's so much water. It's, Portland's called the city of bridges and the city of roses. And there's just so much history there and so much beauty. And I really wanted to honor that space and that place.
Your direction of the actors is very inspirited. What can you tell us about your collaboration with Kamerman? And she's really great in this movie.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, all the actors, it was so wonderful. A lot of them knew each other and had worked at this acting studio in Portland. It's a very small community, and I really wanted to try to find and build off of any real connections that Jessica had with people, and really use that to help free everyone. And I wanted everyone to feel that, again, they had a power, and there's a really it's so important to me that everyone feels there's a collaborative nature happening. So, although it's important to me that this not be a documentary or a recreation in any way, it's sort of something else. I did want to explore improvisation, and, I sort of gave people situations, ways to improvise into a scene, out of a scene, giving them sort of different variations. I remember there were times with Skylar Verite, who plays Kevin, who's so incredible, and with Jessica playing Sophie, the early scene of them in the coffee shop. I just was sort of throwing out things to him, like how he could compliment her, and watching, them blush and him come up with things, and her sort of like disapproving look. And so just all capturing this sort of aliveness and this naturalness that just comes with honesty was really important. So, and they were so game. All the actors were so game, and really everyone gave their all to this film. So I think that's what's coming through.
What are for you the main ingredients for a good movie about adolescence and the transition to adulthood?
I think it's just honesty. I think that was the mantra I kept coming back to. It was so important to not prescribe how the audience should feel. It was important to not, manipulate something. I wanted it to feel, I wanted you to breathe with her, to walk with her, to feel what she's feeling with reverence, without judgment, and to have an experience and to feel all of the feelings, the profound loneliness, which is amazing. You can feel, I feel like I keep quoting Celine Sciamma just because I am so floored by her, and just how she speaks about cinema as the transmission of intimacy. And one of the only places you can really feel loneliness is in films. And the idea that you can feel such loneliness, but with other people around you, it's just sort of incredible. So it was just, I think, just honesty, and and to not give up.
Okay, nice. What were the main difficulties encountered during the making of this film? The time, maybe, the budget?
Yes and yes. Boris, yes. There's, I think with independent film, any film, it's always time, it's always money. It's very, very difficult to, especially since it is my first film, to bring people on and to find the resources. It's not the typical way, right? Where there's like a big name on a marquee and people like, oh, I know this person. And they're, it really is about speaking your heart and being passionate. But I do believe you gather the people around you and you draw them in that are meant to be a part of it. So I think time and money, and just, we are a very small crew. It's like everyone doing 500 people's jobs is insane, and I wouldn't recommend it, but you do what you have to do to tell the story.
What were your main source of inspiration to create this movie? Some books, some other movies?
Yeah, there are so many. It's interesting. I did so much of when I was, working on the script with Jessica, there was a lot I was referencing, and, photographers, images and sound, playlists, music, other films. But then once I got into the scouting and the making, I really I didn't want it to be like, anything else. Of course, you always become like your teachers, or you reference the things that come through you. But I really just wanted to, get the smells of the space and the sounds of the space and the colors, and look at how the light is falling, and embrace, all the limitations, and embrace what was in front of me. So that was once I was in the making of the film. But yes, I mean, you know, Rania Matar is an incredible photographer who I love, who I was, you know, looking at her photographs of mothers and daughters, a lot of photography of Jessica that her sister had taken of her. I looked at a lot of photos when I was young and, you know, reading, you know, things I wrote when I was 16 at that time. I was watching, you know, like Athena Rachel Sangari and like Alicia Roacher and just like these incredible films, you know, I mean, I'm so inspired by filmmakers and so many women filmmakers.
In the current context of the coronavirus, as a filmmaker, can you tell us about the main difficulties that you meet actually?
Could you repeat the question?
I'm sorry. In the current context of the coronavirus, as a filmmaker, can you tell us about the main difficulties that you meet actually?
The main difficulties as a filmmaker?
During this period of pandemic, of coronavirus, I think it's very difficult actually to turn a movie, to shoot a movie, because you have coronavirus everywhere.
Oh, yes, now. Oh, yeah, I've been speaking with a lot of friends about this, and I think there's just a lot of unknown. I mean, I personally am using this time to write and to, you know, sort of fill up my cup and be inspired and really work on things in the writing way. But, you know, things are happening. I think, again, it's sort of more difficult with smaller budgets. In a way, there's a lot more freedom because you have fewer people. You can, you know, maybe you shoot it all outside. Maybe you're able to totally distance. You only need like one location. So there's sort of, I think that maybe is a possibility. And then the larger, you know, studio movies that have a lot of money that can, you know, put everyone up in a hotel for 14 days and can contact trace. And I think, you know, it's sort of, it's just a difficult time. I think we just need time to sort of see how things transpire.
Your film is presented actually at a world premiere this morning to the Deauville American Film Festival. How does it feel to see your first movie selected in such international festival? Are you happy?
I don't think I have the words. I'm so humbled.
Yes.
Truly, France, I love France. French cinema means so much to me. My favorite filmmakers are, you know, French filmmakers, as I said, like, you know, Céline Sciamma, Madi Diop, like, you know, Agnès Varda, like, just incredible. It's an incredible honor. And I can't wait to go one day.
Nice. Who are your favorite directors? In which film are the main driving force behind your artistic creation?
It's so hard to pick one, you know, it's like, I don't know, it's like with any art, right? Poetry, books, it's like when you see a film, I don't know, it just feels like my favorite films, you just feel seen. You feel seen by them, validated. You feel like, oh, someone else sees the world the way I do, or I wish I could, you know, articulate it in this way. But there's so many. But I mean, I watch a lot of documentaries, and I do watch a lot of, you know, foreign films. Mia Hansen-Løve is a huge inspiration. You know, when I was watching this, I did watch a lot of, you know, coming of age films to sort of see, you know, Andrea Arnold's film, like Fish Tank and you know, Mustang, and obviously Marielle Heller's Diary of a Teenage Girl is just like an iconic film in the States and huge inspiration. So there were so many, but yeah, it's interesting. You want to contribute to that genre, but also you can't worry about it because then you just have to tell the story and be truthful and go, you know, do it the way you must do it, and then you'll think about it after.
Nice. Do you have any French actors that you would like to work with?
Yes, I mean, Isabelle Huppert.
Yes, which one?
Oh, well, she's just incredible. Just incredible. And also I am really obsessed with, I forget the translation in French, but the TV show Call My Agent. Camille Cotin, is that her name?
Oui, Camille Cotin, yes, of course. Yes.
She is just everything. I mean, to work with her would be incredible. I think she's incredible. So yeah, those are two women that I would be lucky to be in the same room as.
And my last question, what are you currently working on?
Yes.
Screenplay?
Yes. So I'm currently writing a feature film, and it's some of the same themes of Sophie Jones, but it's also period film, and there's some sort of modern fairy tale. So I'm working on that, and also a pilot that I'm developing with the Sundance Labs here in the United States with my best friend and collaborator, Lena Hudson. So we're writing that together and getting ready to sort of take that out into the world to try to make it a show. And then I have another pilot that I'm writing that would be set in Portland because I just love it so much and I want to go back.
Thank you very much for this interview. Have a nice day.
Thank you so
Bye-bye.
much. You too. Thank you, Boris. Take care.